everybody. This is Ali Rafter. I wanted to create a definitive update for 2022 for LexisNexis. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because a lot of you guys have been going through the channel, and I've noticed specifically on the analytics that a lot of folks are actually looking at the LexisNexis video and had some questions on how to go about fixing LexisNexis, or even how to request a report from LexisNexis, and what are some of the laws to protect you so that LexisNexis cannot necessarily mess around. Okay, so for that purpose, today's video is designated around helping you basically obtain your reports from LexisNexis, some of the rules and regulations around that, and how to freeze your reports in LexisNexis.
Hey, right before we begin the video, if you're interested in talks like personal credit, business credit, developing your business, mergers and acquisitions, as well as wealth, then this is probably the channel you want to stick around. So if you like these topics, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn that notification on to all, so every time videos are released, you'll be the first to know. And with that said, let's get back to today's topic.
The first thing you want to do, and the reason I have, obviously, I opened Google here, it's because it's a lot easier just to go from the Google search into directly requesting LexisNexis report. Because what happens, right? Let's say if you go to LexisNexis.com, you're brought into this situation where you have to choose, an option. And let's say you go to Legal and Professional Solutions, you have a whole, bunch of things that you have to kind of go through, and you have to figure things out. And then, go from here and say, like, okay, well, look, where am I supposed to essentially protect myself, or where am I supposed to collect my reports? It's not very clear. If we were to go back to that homepage, you go to Risk Solutions, you click on this, and all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of other things that are service oriented for companies and organizations and government and so on and so forth. So it's not very clear, right? So instead of going from LexisNexis's website, what you want to do is you want to go on Google, type in LexisNexis, and you got to do report request. As you can see, it's the second search option that comes up for me. And I do that, and automatically the first result you'll see is order your report online. You click on this, and it'll take you to the portal where you can actually fill up your information to request your LexisNexis report. Now, I would do this if you're looking to basically get a complete report about LexisNexis. What typically they do nowadays is they'll give you a letter, and in that letter, they'll give you a web address with the PIN number, which you can download your credit reports, basically the consumer report of LexisNexis. You can also contact them. If you have any specific questions, you'll see the contact details here, or alternatively, you can always email them with your request, right? So one of the things you'll always have to do when it comes to collecting or accessing your report is you got to fill out the information correctly. And this has to be information that you would have otherwise similar to your credit reports, right? According to your driver's license and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the correct address as you are right now. And, of course, continue by filling up the rest of the information. Now, if you're missing any of these pieces, they have the right to not provide you the report. And they might ask for your SSN. It's because they have to coordinate that data. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to give my SSN. It's kind of too late for that if they have an entire report on you that's being reported to the credit bureaus, right? So without playing games, you just go ahead and fill this data and get the information you need. One of the things you also want to do, right? You want to get a consumer disclosure report, and you can do it so online. And so just do that. And of course, description of procedure, also you want to do that, right? This is much easier because what happens is the envelope, it's just super large. And sometimes what happens is it might actually be damaged throughout the mail delivery process, especially nowadays. So the best thing you want to do is just request it online, and also request a procedure letter so that you can continue. And obviously when you submit your request, they'll give you the information that you need in order to collect your LexisNexis report. Next up, let's talk a little bit about how you can do a security freeze for your LexisNexis, right? So you go on this, and you just read the instructions and basically file a security freeze request, right? You're going to be able to do it online. You can do it over the phone. My recommendation, if you want, just to, be safe, you can actually request it by mail as well, but I would do it online, right? Because there's nothing really that you're applying for by leveraging this platform. So if you click on this, you got to fill out the information as you did when you were requesting your report, and essentially complete this and make sure that you're, attaching the appropriate identification, and then basically you can also request a replacement PIN and then submit your report, the request to freeze your LexisNexis report. So this is pretty fast. It doesn't take too long. So basically that's the instructions on how to go about and freezing your reports. Now we kind of went through two pieces here. We went through requesting your LexisNexis report, and we went through security freezing. Let's talk about the laws and regulations that protect you as a consumer. This is where we look at the FCRA rights. If you see it on the top right, right near the help button, you can go ahead and click on this. And this gives you a guidance on what you're entitled to, right? And there are specifics in terms of where you live. So you want to make sure that you look at the state. So let's assume I'm a Florida resident, right? So based on FL, you can actually download a copy of what the rules and regulations are. Let's see if I can open in a new tab. No, it just goes directly to download. So what you want to do is basically look at the summary of your consumer rights based on the state that you're in. In general, if LexisNexis, for example, is refusing to give you reports, you can always contact the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the CFPB. It also says that you're entitled to a free report under the Credit Reporting Act, right? One of the things about your rights, because LexisNexis has decided to use this specific FCRA rights on their website, and if they say, oh, we're not governed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's completely false. They have to follow the rules and regulations, which means because they're under the purview of the CFPB, they have to promote the accuracy, fairness, and privacy of the information for consumer reporting. Because they're directly also submitting data to the credit reporting agencies, they automatically, by law, are kind of pulled into the FCRA. So those are some baselines on how to get started with LexisNexis. Obviously how to pull your reports from LexisNexis, how to freeze or security freeze your LexisNexis report, how to get a digital copy, as we had, kind of walked through about it. One of the last few reminders I would say strongly and encourage you guys to do is don't forget to include your IDs or Social Security. It's kind of too late already. They already have all your info. They just want to confirm that it's you because they don't want to just give anybody requesting an online copy to anyone. Then basically collection agency just get your information without submitting your SSN, if that makes sense, right? So to protect you, they need your SSN and they will need to pull that data. So it's best to go ahead and provide it right away so that you don't create any delays because time is of the essence, especially when it comes to LexisNexis. And once you have that report, you can just do the strategies that we always teach you about looking at the inaccuracies and looking at the deficiencies of those items, specifically when you're categorizing and itemizing them. And then, of course, contacting LexisNexis through a document stating very specifically what those mistakes are and having them correct that. Okay, so it's not as complicated as the credit reporting agencies, but you do have to go through these steps to go ahead and securely get your report, to do a security freeze, as well as understand your rules and regulations and your rights as a consumer, obviously under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So I hope this video gave you guys some insights. This is the definitive update of LexisNexis of 2022. If there are any other updates, you guys will be the first to know. I'll go ahead and post it on this channel. I'll talk to you guys soon. This is Elite After, your guide and mentor. Bye for now.